absolutely beautiful day on the 4th of November here in Kansas City, Missouri, at one of the great sporting venues in all the world, Arrowhead Stadium, and this interconference matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Joe Buck. Troy Aikman is coming right up. Who knew at the beginning of the season that as we approach the midway point, this would be a matchup of two first-place teams. Kansas City lost their first two. Now they've won 4 of 5. They're on top in the AFC West. And how about that guy and the way Brett Favre has played for the 6-1 Packers on top in the North in the NFC. And Troy Aikman has magically appeared on your screen. And that means that I will ask you this question. It's more than just Brett Favre and the way he's played. This is the youngest team in the NFL, and as a group, they've played outstanding football.
They're playing very well. They're playing well on the defensive side of the ball. Clearly, Brett Favre's had a lot to do with this team's success early, but you know, a couple of weeks ago, looking at them, weren't real sure where they were at. But after 2 big wins against Washington and last week against Denver, you know, this young group of players is really stepping up. And last week, more importantly, on the offensive side of the ball, they finally got the running game going.
Well, we talk about Kansas City and the way that they have played. On top in the West in the AFC, and their head coach is Herm Edwards, and he's down on the field with Pam Oliver. Can you hear me, Pam?
I can hear you. Herm, going back to your days in Tampa, you've had a little experience with Brett Favre. What are some of the things you stressed to the team this week?
Well, keep your composure, because the one thing he's going to do, he's going to complete passes. You're not going to stop him doing that. Don't even imagine you're doing that. But I think the thing that we have to do is we got to tackle well, obviously, and try to make them one-handed. It sounds crazy, but you do. You got to make potent offenses one-handed, and our ability to tackle well and keep our composure on defense is a key. And offensively, obviously, for us to be able to run the ball and keep their offense off the field some.
Thanks, appreciate your time, Herm. Back up to you, Joe.
All right, Pam, and nice of Herm to stop by. Mike McCarthy telling us leading into this game that might be one of the best front sevens they face all year that Herm Edwards and the Chiefs have on defense.
Well, that's right, and Herm Edwards knows that the reason that they are 4-3 is the play of their defense, and they're going to have to play very well again here today, because offensively they're shorthanded. I don't see Kansas City scoring a lot of points offensively.
You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Let's go. 2 first-place clubs get together here in Kansas City. We'll step aside and come back for the opening kickoff. Chiefs, Packers today for you on Fox.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
There's your matchup, Green Bay, Kansas City, and a hug right on cue between Larry Johnson and Herm Edwards. What a start to this season it's been for Brett Favre. It's been a renaissance, a big win on Monday night in Denver. It's not easy in this league to win on a Monday night in Denver, then turn around in a short week and win at Kansas City. That's what the Packers are trying to do as they attempt to stay on top in the NFC North. Eddie Drummond on the return for Kansas City. He crossed the 15, got out to the 18-yard line, and Jason Hunter made the stop for Green Bay. And now Damon Huard will carry with him the first few plays out into that huddle. And for Damon, it's been a painful yet pretty effective beginning to the season.
Yes, it has, Joe, and you talked about how challenging this will be for the Packers on a short work week. The Kansas City Chiefs, on the other hand, they had a bye last week, and it came at a good time because, as you said, Damon Huard, who has taken a lot of hits this year, desperately needed that week off in order to try to heal up.
An oblique strain, shoulder, groin, calf. There aren't many body parts left. Over the middle, it's Gonzalez to the 24. And a gain of 7. Graphically, the injuries look like this. The shoulder, the right shoulder, that's not good for a right-handed quarterback. The oblique, the right calf, and the left groin.
And I think of all of those, Joe, it might be that right calf right there that gives him the most problems. It's his plant foot. That's
Johnson, and that's the big body of Corey Williams.
follow up on that, it's his plant foot, it being his right calf. And because that's the foot where you have to be able to get up on your toe if you're going to throw the ball effectively, it puts a strain on the calf muscle. He told us the other day that each game, by the second half, it swells up on him, and it definitely impacts his play.
Larry Johnson telling you that if he has one more injury, he's going to turn into Frankenstein. Third down and 3. And Heward has nowhere to go, and he takes a dive. Corey Williams closest to him. He'll get credit for the sack, and it turns into a 3-and-out after a good first down completion to Gonzalez to start the drive.
Well, Brian Waters there, the left guard, thought that he had him at least moved out of the pocket. I don't know that anyone ever even got a hand on Damon Heward. He was trying to escape to his left, looked like he lost his balance, and an easy sack.
Dustin Colquitt hits a good one. Woodson waiting for it, takes it from about the 34, and a penalty flag comes in at the end of the return. 7-yard return by Charles Woodson. And we'll get the call.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 32, receiving team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Brandon Jackson, the rookie, is guilty of the illegal block in the back, and that really hurts Green Bay. It had nothing to do with the play, obviously, as Woodson was going out of bounds. And instead of starting with the ball outside the 40, it marches it back to the 33.
Well, and those are the penalties that are so upsetting for a coaching staff. You saw Brandon Jackson getting an earful there. They had a number of those types of penalties last week in the Broncos game.
Total of 104 yards assessed against Green Bay. Little rollout, and Jones on the reception. First down, Green Bay, and all their fans who have made the trip get a chance to cheer. He's out to the 45, a gain of 12.
Yeah, we talk about that Kansas City offense coming into this game, and they came in, Joe, leading the NFL in 3-and-outs. And they get the opening possession of this ball game in 3 plays, and they're punting again. I know Herm Edwards is very concerned about the lack of production offensively, and they're going to have to do a much better job than what they've shown already.
On first down from the 45, Favre comes to this side of the field. And it's the tight end, Donald Lee. A free agent to be at the end of the season, and Donald Lee is the guy who has stepped up at tight end for Green Bay. That was 15 yards.
Yeah, and look what they're doing to Donald Driver. The same thing happened on the first play to Greg Jennings. They're running people underneath him. So concerned about the wide receivers that it's opened up the underneath things off the boot with Brett Favre. Think back to last week. They had so many big plays in the passing game that Kansas City enters this game certainly with that on their mind.
Will we see Ryan Grant here? We do, over the right side, and Grant gets it inside the 40, picked up 2. We have our first game break and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Hello, Joe, and hello to a quick lead for the Jets. Opening kickoff of the game against the Redskins. Leon Washington takes it back 86 yards for the score. It's his 3rd kickoff return for a touchdown this year, and he didn't get the kick returning duties until week 3 when Justin Miller went down with an injury. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right, Kurt, thank you. Redskins start the day at 4-3. 3rd place in the NFC East. A toss to Grant. Grant pushes the pile inside the 35 to the 34, picked up 5, and it'll be a manageable 3rd and short coming up.
Well, Jared Allen, he's having a great year so far, and you're going to see him. He's going to draw a lot of attention. You've got Chad Clifton, and then Corey Hall comes in to pick him off so that they're able to run the football inside of him. Obviously, that was a running play, but you can expect that kind of look at him even when the Green Bay Packers are dropping back to throw. He's a ferocious, tenacious defensive guy, and his motor never stops.
8 sacks, tied for 2nd in the NFL. Over the middle, pass complete, first down Green Bay. A pickup of 5, and it was Donald Lee, the tight end, his second catch on this opening possession for the Green Bay Packers.
And that's where I just think Brett Favre has been outstanding. I think he's always been good in that area, but it just seems that this year he's done a much better job of not trying to force throws. He wanted to come to the outside to a wide receiver, comes underneath to Donald Lee, and so many times these linebackers, they want to get underneath those deeper routes. There are yards to be had underneath if, in fact, you're patient.
Favre steps up and fires, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Surtain. His second of the season. Herm Edwards telling you Brett Favre will throw you 3 a game. The question is, do you catch him? Out of the reach of Jennings and into the gut of Patrick Surtain. First turnover of the day.
Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane.
Patrick Surtain was traded to the Chiefs for the 05 season. Here he is in 07. He just gets his 36th career interception, and for Brett Favre, he throws his 281st. Blitz coming from Green Bay, and the pass complete. Gonzalez on the catch to the 35, and we go back to the interception.
Yeah, we go back and take a look at it, and you're going to see Jared Page right here. He's going to be the guy who creates the indecision for both Brett Favre and Greg Jennings. He gets underneath the route. Favre wants to throw right here on the left side of Jared Page, but Greg Jennings throttles it down, not certain where the ball was going to be thrown. And because Favre let it go, that's why the interception took place.
On second down, Larry Johnson, who has been hot of late after an extremely slow start, picks up 5. Depends on the spot as to whether it's a first down or not. It is a first down, says Walt Anderson.
Larry Johnson, you're right, Joe. I mean, he got off to an awfully tough start, this season. And, you look at what he's done 3 of the last 4 games, over 100 yards rushing. However, if you take out his best run in each one of those games, averaging less than 3 yards a carry. So I understand that the big runs are a part of it, but still, there's been some inconsistencies in what they're doing running the football.
Well, for a guy like Larry Johnson, he has been pounding it the last 2 years. Wow. Talk about pounding it. How about Atari Bigby with that hit on Dwayne Bowe, the rookie? That was a legit big hit, and Bowe comes off injured.
You're going to see number 20, Atari Bigby, come in right here, and he gets the shot. It wasn't flush, but it was enough, obviously, to shake him up. And Dwayne Bowe has really kind of been their go-to wide receiver outside of Tony Gonzalez at the tight end position. They're already shorthanded without their leading receiver, Eddie Kennison.
Hand off to Johnson. Johnson out across the 45. For a guy like Bigby, who was flagged 4 times last week at Denver, you have to consider that a good measure of restraint. I mean, he had an opportunity to just light up Dwayne Bowe, and he laid back a little bit, did not create the penalty, broke up the pass, and it could help in a stop here on this defensive series.
Yeah, and I know that those penalties he had last week, a couple of them were just part of the game and physical play, and then a couple of them just weren't real smart. I've got to believe, as you said, that was in his mind as he zeroed in there on Dwayne Bowe.
3rd down and 5. Heward nowhere to go, and he's brought down by Campman. 3 sacks at Denver, and Campman is in on it again. 8 on the year. Now add to it a loss of 5, 4th down.
Well, Aaron Campman, I mean, what a great player he has become. He's a lot like Jared Allen when we were talking about him. He's got all the different rushes. He bull rushes there on right tackle Chris Terry, and able to come off him and get Heward to the ground.
With all the focus on Brett Favre, and maybe in some respects rightly so, the defense for Green Bay continually gets overlooked. It has been outstanding, and that one checks out of bounds at the 2. How about that from Colquitt?
Yeah, Colquitt's the only guy on this team that's happy about the offense not doing so well. I mean, he's got to ice that leg down after every game.
Number 6 in the NFL with his average in this one to perfection out of the 2. Dustin Farr Colquitt. Farr is his middle name. That one wasn't so much Farr as it was well placed at the 2.
He's had a lot of practice. He's got the second most punts in the National Football League this year.
Handoff is to Ryan Grant, and their newfound starting running back takes it out to the 5. Dustin's dad, Craig, was a punter for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Indianapolis, and he is a weapon for Kansas City. That last punt just put the Packers at their 2. It's out to the 5. It's 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, and right now Green Bay's only focus is trying to get at least 1 first down to make room for their own punter.
We focus in on Jared Allen, number 69, coming off the right side of the defense, and Ryan Grant will take it out to the 9-yard line. Picked up 4. About 2.5 shy of a first down.
When you think back to last week's game for Green Bay against Denver and what they were able to do running the football, of course, Ryan Grant wasn't even expected to be the featured guy. Deshaun Wynn, they went into the game saying, we're going to give him every opportunity to be our guy, and Deshaun Wynn goes down very early. They go with Ryan Grant. He winds up rushing for over 100 yards, and depending on what kind of day he can have here today, I mean, this is how careers are started.
3rd down and 3. Farr backpedaling as he throws, and he hits Donald Lee. Troy, we talked to Brett Favre about his tight end position. It's been a spot he's always looked for in his time with the Green Bay Packers. He said, we are wearing out Donald Lee, and he's wearing him out here in the first quarter today.
Yeah, but I think Donald Lee's pretty happy about the attention that he's been getting. That's a heck of a catch right there for a big man, and they do a good job on Jared Allen on the outside. Chad Clifton may have gotten away with hands to the face, but they slow him down just enough. Donald Lee, who acknowledges he had a less than spectacular year last year, is having him a great season so far this season.
Corin Robinson is in the lineup for Green Bay, first time after his 1-year suspension, and Jones can't hang on. Just mugged after the ball got to him by the great Ty Law, and there's Corin Robinson, who is in his first game since his 1-year banishment by the league for violating alcohol and substance abuse, the policy for the NFL. He also spent 2 different stints in jail for alcohol-related offenses, and he said, I may cry getting back onto the field. He has worked his way back, and this is his last shot. 2nd and 10. Pressure on Favre. He's hit as he let it go. Alfonso Boone, who has really made a difference on this defensive front for Kansas City.
Well, there's no doubt, Joe. I believe he's right there. And the job that he has done this year, he's got amazing quickness for a guy his size. He was able to get his hand there on the arm of Brett Favre. And he has been maybe the most impactful player on this defense so far, because with his inside push, he really helps with those outside pass rushers of Jared Allen and Tamba Hali.
3rd down and 10. Favre with a pocket, throws and completes. Wide open is Jennings. He's got a first down. Benny Sapp, the cornerback, it looked like it fallen down, and that left Jennings absolutely wide open, and Favre hit him for a 12-yard gain.
Yeah, and this time they come in with 2 guys on the big man, Boone. They got center help and then Darren College at left guard, and that creates the space there then for Brett Favre to be able to step up and have a clear line of sight out to the wide receiver, and Benny Sapp just giving up too much ground.
2nd, 3rd down conversion on this drive that started at the 2. Ryan Grant over the left side. A nice run on first down, picked up 7. Jared Page on the tackle for Kansas City.
You know, Ryan Grant, when you just look at him and you see that he's listed as a first-year player, he's really in his 3rd NFL season, because when he came in, he was on the practice squad his first year for the Giants, and then last year he was on injured reserve. And so even though this is the first time for him to get some actual playing time on the field, goes a long way being within an NFL organization for your third year.
Second down and 3. May have a game break coming your way as Ryan Grant cuts back, picks up a first down, inches across the 45, and here's Kurt with a game break.
Well, let's keep the running back show going. Reggie Bush with a 1-yard score gives the Saints a 10-0 lead over Jacksonville early. Then in Minnesota, LaDainian Tomlinson. San Diego's up by a touchdown. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right, Kurt, that's the test today for New Orleans after that 0-4 start. They've won 3 straight, trying to get back to 500. And they are tested today by the Jaguars. A fumble. Green Bay able to get back on top of it as Mark Tauscher saves it for the Packers. And Favre never got it to Grant, and they talk it over. That thing was just sitting there.
Yeah, they got away with one there. I mean, they moved the football. Of course, the interception by Favre on the first possession, and now they lay the ball on the ground here. See what happened. And it just did not get into Ryan Grant's chest all the way. And part of that is Brett Favre, but part of that is also Ryan Grant. It looked like he started to clamp down on the ball prior to Brett being able to actually stick it all the way into his pouch.
It was a late fumble at Minnesota at the end of September that put Grant on the bench. Went 2 games without a carry. Receiver falls down. That was Ryan Krause, the tight end, and now a penalty flag comes in.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 49, defense. Contact to the quarterback's head, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Boy, that's a big penalty against Pollard as the Chiefs had a 3rd down and long to defense, and now an automatic first down as Pollard hit Brett Favre too high.
Yeah, and actually it looked initially, and when you watch Ryan Grant here, it looked like they might have been able to call him for holding on him, but that left hand, and that's the part of the rule that I don't really care for. I know that the officials will tell you we can't officiate intent. I believe that you can. And intent was not to try to injure Brett Favre there, and it was a pretty meaningless hit.
Handoff is to Grant, and in the hole, the hit made by Donnie Edwards. A gain of only 1. Let's go down to Pam Oliver. Pam.
Well, Joe, last night, Packers running backs coach Edgar Bennett took all of his backs out to dinner, one of his traditions, and for the first time in a long time, the guy seated across from the table knew exactly who the featured guy was going to be. And that is going to be Ryan Grant. Bennett said it's a very positive step. He hates the idea of running back by committee. He said he told Grant now that the opportunity is here, don't look back. Furthermore, stay out of Mike McCarthy's doghouse by taking care of the ball, but at least he knows now that the ball is his to take care of.
All right, Pam, and actually a fitting time to talk about Grant as he makes a catch. They really want to use Ryan Grant a lot in the passing game. He wears the same number that Dorsey Levens wore, who was the combo with Edgar Bennett in the Super Bowl year for the Green Bay Packers. He reminds many of Dorsey Levens. Now it's Brandon Jackson in the backfield, and he gets it, and he goes backward. Hit by linebacker Derek Johnson, a loss of 2.
Well, Derek Johnson has been an unbelievable player in the short time that he's been playing for this Chiefs defense. And this year he is off to probably his best start of his young NFL career. And you look at him, and I know in talking with Herm Edwards, he says Derek Johnson is to this defense what Derek Brooks was to the great Tampa Bay defenses while Herm was with them. And he's a big part of the building blocks that is going to allow this defense to be the defense that Herm expects them to be.
Blitz coming. Surtain didn't get there, and Krause on the catch. The tight end rolls out at the 30. The clock continues to wind, and that could be the end of a very quick first quarter. First quarter that saw Brett Favre throw an interception. For Brett, his 7th of the season to go with his 11 touchdown throws, and that's going to be it. But Green Bay, with a drive that started back on their own 2, we'll have a 3rd down and 6 when we start the second quarter with the ball just outside the Kansas City 30. No score at Arrowhead after 1. Well, while the Packers have the ball, we tell the story on the other side. That visor and walkie-talkie may come off at some point for Brody Croyle with the start that Damon Huard has had, but bigger than that, at some point Croyle's going to take over this thing.
Well, he is. I mean, they really feel that he's the guy. They think they've got something really special in him. In fact, he takes 40% of the snaps in practice, which is unheard of. I mean, most backups don't get any reps in practice, and here he is almost splitting all of them.
We could see him today. Meanwhile, another third down for Green Bay. Quick throw dropped by Jennings. Ty Law had his hands on Greg Jennings. No flag.
I know Greg Jennings thought that Ty Law kept him from being able to get off the line of scrimmage, and a flag maybe should have been thrown. But at the same time, this is a ball that Greg Jennings, should have caught. Had a chance to make a play right there. And Herm Edwards told us, he says, we're going to see curls and we're going to see slants. And that's what Green Bay likes to run. And they saw the slant there, but Green Bay unable to capitalize.
Crosby, the rookie, trying to hit from 48. And he's good. Mason Crosby, who had a fantastic start to his NFL career with a game winner on opening day. Low snap, at least a dropped one. Almost kicked it flat-footed, got it through from 48. Crosby puts Green Bay up 3-0.
Fox is sponsored by Applebee's. Together is good. By Dodge. Live to the fullest. Dodge. Grab life. And by State Farm. Proud sponsor of the NFL.
Brett Favre looking at the pictures of that last drive. Packers, who had a 98-yard 14-play drive on Monday night in Denver that ended in a field goal, have a 15-play drive that covers 68 yards here. And Crosby, who has missed only 3 times all year, hit from 48. This is Eddie Drummond. Eddie Drummond with a good return, and it's Crosby, the kicker, who makes the tackle. He's doing it all, Troy. Hitting from 48, making tackles after a 30-yard return, and Damon Huard will stay at quarterback. Look at that.
Well, he made contact anyway.
That's a tackle in the NFL. Their fans know how to travel. So do the Kansas City Chiefs fans. In fact, you cannot get to the stadium early enough. You cannot beat the fans here.
Maybe one of the greatest places for tailgating, right here at Arrowhead Stadium.
You could leave at 6:30 in the morning. Get out here in the morning and somebody's grilling up an egg or something. Gain of 1 by Larry Johnson. They have fun here. They packed this Arrowhead Stadium, which is about to undergo major renovations, just like Lambeau Field did a couple of years ago. And Carl Peterson telling us before the game that he took a traveling party to Lambeau, talked to the personnel there, and talked about how they got through that transition. But this stadium's going to look a lot different.
Well, if they can do anything even close to what they were able to do there at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, this is going to continue to be a very special place to play.
Second down and 8. Larry Johnson will try the right side, and Woodson off the corner made the tackle, a gain of 2. Let's go to Kurt for a game break. All right, thank you, Kurt. Adrian Peterson, his impressive rookie season continues.
Boy, he's an amazing guy, no doubt about it. And that's turning into a pretty good game there in Minnesota.
LT first, and now Peterson answers. There's 7-7 there. Let's see who that's on. Campman came across, playing across from Chris Terry.
False start, number 60, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
So Cameron was drawn off with the false start.
Yeah, and that's what happens. I mean, you wouldn't expect it so much at home because Chris Terry clearly can hear the snap count. But when you're going against a guy like Aaron Campman with his kind of speed, I mean, Chris Terry, no question, has great respect for what he's facing today. And so he wants to get out of the blocks as quickly as possible. And, that time he just did it a little too soon.
6 sacks in the last 3 games, 1 today already. 3rd and 11 for this Kansas City offense. It's going nowhere right now. Hawk was coming on a blitz. Penalty flag comes in as Gonzalez makes the catch. Well short of first down yardage, and we'll check the flag.
It was hard to tell if it was going to be defensive pass interference on Atari Bigby or if maybe Tony Gonzalez got his hands extended and it'll be called on him.
Holding, number 21, defense. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and a first down.
That's Charles Woodson who's actually engaged with him there. And that's a pretty good call. After 5 yards, you got to let him go. I was thinking it was Bigby that was actually on him. But you saw at the end of that, Tony Gonzalez, he got away with a little bit of a shove as well. But considering it was 3rd and long, that then becomes a big first down for this Chiefs offense.
Play action from Huard, who steps up and fires, and it is incomplete. It hit the ground. Collins had it. It went up in the air. Nick Collins is saying that he got it again before being out of bounds, or the ball hit the ground, but for now they're calling it incomplete. And Collins wants his sideline to throw the challenge flag.
Well, let's see when he has possession of it. I mean, obviously he's on the ground now. And we lose it on the backside. It looked like he was, his body anyway, it looked like it was in the field of play. During all that, it's actually just whether or not he had possession.
Well, the Chiefs run another play, so there will be no challenge, and a penalty flag comes in from the back judge.
And the other part of that was because it happened on the Green Bay sidelines. They had as good a view of it as anyone, and they didn't challenge the play.
Illegal block in the back, number 84, offense. 10-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
That's Chris Wilson, who is kind of an H-back type player. He plays tight end, plays some fullback. Brings up 2nd and 20. I will say on the first replay, it looked like you could see the ball come out when Collins was attempting to re-grab it as he made his way to the sideline, sliding on his back. So no challenge, no turnover, no interception for Collins, who does not have one this season. And now with Priest Holmes in the huddle for the first time today, the ball is moved back to the 28 and brings up 2nd and 15. To Priest Holmes, who doesn't get much. Colin Jenkins on the tackle, as Priest Holmes is playing in his first home game in over 2 years. 3-time Pro Bowler for the Kansas City Chiefs. In their history, he is #1 in total touchdowns, rush yards, rushing touchdowns. He had 27 in 2003, and then the head and neck trauma put him on the sideline for 2 years, and here he is back. 3rd down and 13. Huard over the middle. Gonzalez can't hang on. A.J. Hawk on the coverage. It's 4th down.
A.J. Hawk with the coverage.
The Kansas City Chiefs have just struggled all season long, converting on 3rd downs. You see Huard trying to move to find himself a place to throw the ball, and again, Aaron Campman, they're applying the pressure inside. Nowhere for Huard then to step up, and that's why the ball got away from him high on the throw.
And the chances of seating Brody Croyle increase with every ineffective possession for the Chiefs. Woodson, a daring catch, gets it to the 29, a return of 1 yard after a 42-yard punt. Packers have it, and they lead by 3. So far for Green Bay, Favre has started 7 for 11, has thrown an interception. 8 carries, 28 yards on the ground for Ryan Grant, and Donald Lee has had a nice day at tight end. Last drive started at the Green Bay 2, this one at the Green Bay 29. And the handoff is to Ryan Grant, picks up 2. Take a look ahead to next week. They blew that play dead, so Jared Allen will have to return the football. Next week, it is a doubleheader day on Fox, and you see the early games. Falcons and Panthers, Vikings at Packers, Eagles and Redskins, and you and I and Pam will be at Giant Stadium for a matchup of the top two teams in the East. The Giants are off today. Dallas plays later tonight at Philly.
Well, in that game tonight with Philly and Dallas, I mean, that becomes a huge game in tightening that race if Philadelphia is able to win the game.
2nd and 8. Favre trying to buy time, lost the football, and the Packers are back on top of it. Jared Allen was in on the play defensively. No surprise for the Chiefs, a loss of 6 after the fumble.
Well, it's just a good job of showing how he will not quit on a play. He's able to come inside, loop back around. The ball comes out, and the Packers are fortunate to recover this one as well. And then Jared Allen gives his signature calf rope move, which I know nothing about, but apparently he's a rodeo star and will be starring when his NFL career ends somewhere.
3rd down and 14. Playing it safe. A handoff is to Morency. And just buying a few more yards before the punt, he picks up 6. So a good stand there by this Kansas City defense.
This Jared Allen, he competed in junior rodeos. I mean, the guy's from Los Gatos, California, which is shocking that he would get into rodeos, but it was something that struck a chord with him, and he still enjoys it and wants to continue to pursue it. And that's the move. That's the signature move he makes whenever he gets a sack.
He's very proud of his mullet haircut.
He loves it.
Why wouldn't you? Back from the 10. It's Eddie Drummond. And decent coverage downfield by the Packers as Drummond made it out to the 20. Jared Allen describes his mullet. The front says success, and the back says party.
During the kick, holding number 22, receiving team. It'll be half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. It'll be a 1st down. Timeout.
Says the mullet has taken over his life. He's taken over some offensive tackles in his day. It's still 3-0 Green Bay. It takes all kinds to fill a stadium. 3-0 Green Bay on top.
What are his mutton chops tell you?
It's a grab. I'm going to think about it. From his end zone, Huard fires and he hits Gonzalez in stride. Beautiful throw. And a 25-yard completion from Damon Huard.
Yeah, he put that one right on the money because, as you're going to see, Gonzalez is going across the field. Bigby picks him up. It's not too bad a coverage, actually, but because Huard lays it right out in front of Gonzalez, it's just a pretty easy completion. You know, anytime they can get Gonzalez one-on-one, that's where they're going with the football. I mean, it's not by accident that Gonzalez leads this team in receiving just about every season.
That one play netted the Chiefs more yardage than they had picked up in the entire game to this point. 24 yards, then the 25-yard completion to Gonzalez, who among tight ends is number 1 all time in touchdown receptions, and number 2 to Shannon Sharp in receptions and yardage.
You know, it's hard to believe the career that he's had. I mean, he's been such.
Take a look at the fantasy update. You can check out these numbers and many others on FoxSports.com. Powered by MSN or NFL.com. Brett Favre with his 2 interceptions. Only 27 first-half yards, but the 1-yard touchdown run by Larry Johnson. And Donald Lee, the tight end, has been the busiest for Green Bay. Brett Favre, who will get to start this half with the football, sure thinking about the 2 interceptions and the Packers trying to do too much, leading by 6, 35 seconds left in the half in their own end, and it backfired.
Well, yeah, I mean, the 2 interceptions, the first one keeps Green Bay from coming away with points of their own. The second one then obviously sets up the touchdown for Kansas City.
Corin Robinson on the return from about the 1. Corin Robinson is out across the 30. Good return. Let's go down to Pam.
Joe, Herm Edwards seemed to know exactly where I was headed with my line of questioning. I asked him if the turn of events to end the first half helped to ease his mind about his quarterback, Damon Huard. He said, yeah, it helps, but our offense has just got to get something and going. Mike McCarthy, meanwhile, was not bummed when I met up with him at halftime. He saw a lot more positives, though he did say he saw some sloppiness that he'd like to get corrected. He said the scoreboard, meantime, is what we've got to focus on. Back to you.
Yeah, that's the good news for the Chiefs, who had 62 yards, 6 first downs, were 0 for 5 on third down, and averaged 2.6 yards per play on offense, yet lead by 1. Handoff is to Ryan Grant. He loses a yard. You talked about it early. Yeah, it was good for Green Bay at Denver, which hasn't stopped anybody's running game. How would it be today against Kansas City? And it hasn't been all that impressive. 33 yards on the ground for Green Bay.
Yeah, they've not run the football as well, and that was to be expected, really, because like you said, Denver not very good in stopping the run. But, you know, when you're really committed to running the football, the best gains come in the second half of ball games.
Pass is complete. Ryan Krause, the tight end, picks up 5. It'll be third down for the Packers.
Tell you, I thought the report that Pam did is very telling, though, based on what Herm Edwards said with regards to Damon Huard. Now, Damon Huard has done a remarkable job. I mean, he has taken a lot of hits. He's won games. I mean, he's won games not only here, he won them last year as well. He's won them everywhere that he's been. But this organization just feels that Brody Croyle is going to be the guy to really get them where they ultimately want to go. And you know that the organization wants them to play real soon.
How soon? Favre throws, hits Driver, and Donald Driver, it depends on the spot. Brought down right at the marker. He did all he could, and with the spot of the football, we're going to have a measurement. Walt Anderson will call the chains out onto the field, and it is really tough to tell.
I'll tell you what, Donald Driver, I don't think he gets near enough respect for just how tough he is as a receiver. Time after time, you know, Brett Favre will lead him and some of these other receivers into some pretty dangerous areas. And yet Donald Driver always goes after the ball. He always catches it. He always takes a big hit. And he has been a good player for this organization.
First down, Green Bay.
You know, he's also one of the most unselfish players in the National Football League. And, you know, a guy who came into the league, and I don't know that there was a lot expected of him, but I know Brett Favre has great respect for the job that he has done for this receiving corps. He's done a good job being a mentor to these young receivers, and he's shaken up over on the sidelines.
So's Ty Law, who made the hit for Kansas City. That was sheer strength by Driver to not collapse after that hit. Stand up Law and get the first down by half the football. Quick throw for Robinson, high, incomplete. Surtain wrestled him down. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, it's one of the things that the Packers really wanted to be able to do in this game, because they know that Kansas City can get pressure, as we've seen from Jared Allen, Tom Bahali, as well as inside with Alfonso Boone. And so if you're not able to protect and you're getting the pressure like what Brett Favre got there before the end of the first half, come back with some of the quick throws and get it out of your hands. They just were unable to complete that last one.
Four-man rush by the Chiefs, and Favre spins around. Penalty flag comes in, thrown by Anderson in the area of a hold. Pressure by Edwards and Allen.
Holding number 65, offense. 10-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
That's the right tackle, Mark Tauscher, as the Packers play without Wells in their starting lineup and without Junius Costin.
Well, and that's Tom Bahali there, who comes on the backside, and then once Brett Favre starts running around, you're not going to be able to do that. I mean, we see Brett try that an awful lot. Sometimes it works, but against these guys, Jared Allen, more times than not, even got a little help there from Edwards. They're going to get to you when you start trying to get away from the pursuing rush.
2nd down and 20 after the penalty is marched off. 2 knee injuries, Nick Collins, Corey Williams. Both have been carted back onto the field. Collins has taken his shoulder pads off. Williams has not.
Usually when they have ice on their knees, that's not a real good indicator that they'll be back.
First down for Kansas City. Johnson trying to get around Aaron Campman, and he cannot. No gain on the play, and now something we talked about coming in. These are two very good defenses. I would say very underrated defenses, and now the better defense win is the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's really what it's become, because Kansas City on the previous possession got great field position and wasn't able to do anything with it. Green Bay then gets the turnover. They score the touchdown, and now once again Kansas City has great field position, and we'll see what they're able to do here.
Come up.
Larry Johnson carries it into the pile, picks up 3, and this crowd is getting a little tired of watching Larry Johnson run into a bunch of bodies. They want to see this offense opened up.
That's right, Joe. And you know, they know that they want to run the football. They know the coaching staff, that's what they're going to build this thing around, is running the football, but yet they've not been able to do a very good job of it. And we're not just talking about in this game. And so when you're not getting any more production out of your running game than you are, then you've got to go and let Damon Huard be the guy and let him make some plays down the field, as Green Bay has done while they were waiting on their run game.
Both Priest Holmes and Larry Johnson in there at the start of the play. Penalty flag comes in as the catch is made by Gonzalez. It's first down yardage, and the indication is it's against Green Bay.
Illegal contact, number 21, defense. That penalty is declined, first down.
And they get Charles Woodson.
And here's Aaron Campman. You're going to see 31, Priest Holmes. He's going to help out. Chris Terry, the right tackle, as well as Holmes. Then gives Damon Huard time to pick up this first down. Only their second conversion on third down. Gonzalez does a heck of a job making that play. You saw 24, Jared Bush. He thought he was getting ready to get an interception.
Chiefs are finally over 100 yards on offense today, as Huard steps up, throws, and completes. Guess who? Why would Huard look for anybody else? Tony Gonzalez on the catch, good for 9 again.
Well, he rarely does, Joe. In fact, in talking with a lot of these players for the Green Bay Packers, I mean, they knew that coming in. Everybody in the league knows that, but knowing you're going to throw the ball to somebody and then actually keeping them from throwing it to that guy are two different things. And Gonzalez is such a big target and has such good hands that he's just a very difficult guy to keep from getting the ball, and that's why year in and year out he's catching 70-plus balls.
Another big game for Tony. He's got over 80 yards, and that off the hands of Ryan Pickett. And the big guy had visions of rumbling down the field, all 6'2", 322 pounds, who's been a great addition as a free agent from St. Louis. Rams let him walk away, and the Rams are still looking for somebody to plug up the middle in their defense.
Yeah, Big Grease is his nickname, and he's had a little bit of a rebirth here with Green Bay. And you know, can you imagine your sole job is taking double teams as it is for Ryan Pickett? Not an easy job for him.
Third down and 1. Can the Chiefs pick it up? Larry Johnson says he can, and he is right. Picked up 2. First down Kansas City as the Chiefs are on the Green Bay side of midfield. The offense finally getting there on their own. The other time they were there, the interception by Benny Sapp at the end of the first half, which set up the only points of the day for Kansas City.
And that was a big first down for Kansas City. I wonder what exactly Herm Edwards would have done had they not have picked that one up. My guess is that he would have gone for it.
Stay on the ground with Johnson to the 30. Picked up 3.5. Next week will be at Giant Stadium. And the top 2 teams in the NFC East will get together. The Dallas Cowboys, who play tonight at Philadelphia, against the Giants, who played in London last week. They're off this week. Michael Strahan in our studio, and that's the late game, the second half of a Fox doubleheader next Sunday.
Well, a lot of talk about Green Bay and a lot of talk about the Dallas Cowboys.
grabbing the Chiefs flag and jamming it into the ground in the end zone, and Larry Johnson getting some of the frustration out after the 30-yard catch and run.
Well, that's right. I mean, how good does this have to feel for Larry Johnson to finally get the ball out in some space and then show what he's able to do? I'm a little surprised he didn't get to draw a penalty for grabbing the flag.
They'll tell you in this league you're not supposed to use a prop in your touchdown celebration. Larry Johnson celebrating. Some of the steam came out at the end of a long, frustrating day. Kansas City back on top by 1.
Fox is sponsored by DirecTV. Get over 70 of the best channels in HD. By Michelob Light, a classic all-malt lager brewed with the finest European hops. Try the taste. By CareerBuilder.com. A better job awaits, and CareerBuilder.com has the most. And by the new 2008 Focus.
Kansas City back on top. Pretty important no call at the end of the touchdown by Larry Johnson, waving the flag around and jamming it into the ground. Say in the league you're not supposed to use a prop in a touchdown celebration. It doesn't really end up mattering. Instead of having to kick off from the 15.
Out of bounds. Ball will be placed at the 40-yard line.
Which should have given Green Bay good field position on the run back. It doesn't matter because Dave Rayner kicks it out of bounds anyway. And Green Bay down by a point will start at their own 40. Big penalty on Dave Rayner. Herm Edwards is a tremendous motivator. And like Mike Ditka used to do with the Bears, he understands how this game's played on an emotional level and gets at these players, gets them to play their best, trying to pump up his defense. Packers have it at their own 40, first down by 1 point. Play action from Favre's going to go deep for Driver. And Donald Driver hauls it in. A one-handed catch by Driver. A brilliant grab. How good was that?
Awfully good, and the Chiefs had double coverage on him. They got Ty Law as well as Bernard Pollard inside, outside. And Driver just splits the two of them, and Favre throws a perfect ball. And we saw it on Monday night. He did it twice. And I think this throw here was every bit as good as either one of those.
How about 44 yards to Donald Driver? Arm strength is fine for Brett Favre, which he proves yet again with that throw as Ryan Grant pushes the pile forward and picks up 3.5.
You know, Joe, and you're right, there was a lot made last week about Brett Favre's arm strength. I'm not sure exactly where that came from. I mean, Brett Favre's going to be 55 years old, and he's going to have enough arm strength to play in the National Football League. That's going to be the last thing that ever leaves him. So why anybody would ever question whether or not Brett Favre has enough arm to play in the NFL is unbelievable to me.
So you're saying he'll play till he's 55?
Well, I mean, he might.
2nd and 6. Grant, Johnson. Derek Johnson, the outstanding strong side linebacker, made the play. A loss of 1. 3rd down, Green Bay.
Well, this is a similar situation to where Green Bay was in on their previous possession. Down here inside the 20-yard line, 3rd and long. And the Chiefs, as we have said, have been so good down here in the red zone. Will they be able to hold up, which is what they were unable to do the last time?
3rd down and 8. They ran the rookie Turk McBride onto the field at Kansas City. Timeout, Green Bay. Brett Favre has 39 career game-winning comebacks. 4th quarter deficit or tie. That's the qualification, including 3 this season. This could go a long way toward another. 44-yard completion to Driver at the start of this drive. The best red zone defense in the NFL about to be tested again. Green Bay 1 for 2 down here today. A blitz. Favre gets rid of it with Alfonso Boone coming up the middle. pressure by the big defensive tackle, 6'3", 305, and he can move.
I mean, they list him at 305, Joe. I think he's more like 330 pounds. I mean, it's one thing to be able to get through the line unblocked because of the pressure package, but then to be able to put pressure on Favre because of your speed and quickness is an entirely different thing. Alfonso Boone has had himself a great game here today.
32-yard try for the lead from Mason Crosby. 2 for 3 today. 3 for 4 today. And the Packers back on top by 2. Just under 9 to play at Arrowhead. It's getting good, isn't it? Kansas City about to get it back, down by 2. Sure, a lot of Packer fans are at home, Troy, wondering why after the previous touchdown they didn't go for 2 to make it 14-7. Instead, they kicked the extra point. 6-point game. Kansas City back on top now. Green Bay with the lead. As Drummond takes it from inside the 5. And the tackle made by Morency. Return of 15 yards. Here comes Damon Huard. Here come the offensive leaders. I think it's a fair question. I'm sure, Troy, they're asking why not 2 to make it a 7-point game. Why do you just kick the extra point?
Well, I think that, you know, some people will go to that chart early in a game and some coaches won't. Some will wait till the 4th quarter, and I think that's what Herm Edwards was really doing, was just saying, I'm going to wait until later into this game because his defense have been playing pretty good ball. You know, do you want to take the chance on making it a 5-point game if you don't make the 2-point conversion, or making it 6, and then they've got to make at least 2 field goals? You know, that's something that you're always going to be second-guessed on depending on what the ultimate score is.
It's first down for Kansas City, and Larry Johnson picks up 9.5, maybe 10, depends on the spot. Longest run of the day for Larry Johnson, who has that 30-yard touchdown on a screen. And he just picked up 10 by the nose of the football. First down for Kansas City as they're down by 2. Play action from Huard. Larry Johnson out of the backfield. A.J. Hawk on the tackle. A gain of 9.
Yeah, and Larry Johnson immediately reached down and grabbed, it looked like the bottom of his left foot. Maybe it was the right, but he immediately reached down and grabbed his foot when he went down. See if we can see exactly what happened. A.J. Hawk there on the tackle.
Oh, right
there. It was the right ankle, which was caught underneath A.J. Hawk.
So Larry Johnson, who has been such a workhorse, you talk about the previous 2 years, 2 1,700-yard rushing seasons, but they have worked him hard. Well over 700 carries over the last 2 seasons, and that is a terrible sight for Chiefs fans. The last 3 Kansas City plays in this game, a 30-yard touchdown to Larry Johnson, a 10-yard run by Larry Johnson, a 9-yard pass to Larry Johnson. So they're working him, and now he's out.
And now it's Priest Holmes, who until 2 weeks ago hadn't played in almost 2 years.
He gets it, tries the right side, picks up a first down, got out of the tackle of Nick Barnett. Picked up 3 and a first down for the Chiefs. And when you go to the backup, in this case, it's your all-time rushing leader in franchise history. 5,492 rush yards in his Chiefs career. So he's knocking on the door of 5,500 in a Chiefs uniform. And he'll try the left side now. And it's Al Harris coming up to make the play.
Well, you know, with Priest Holmes, here he was back in San Antonio and then called the organization. In fact, many within the organization thought he was calling to announce that he was going to finally and officially retire. Instead, he said he wanted to come back, he wanted to play, and he went through training camp. He was put on the PUP list and then activated a couple of weeks ago. And like I said, 4 carries last week. And you wonder just what kind of condition he is, football condition, to carry the load here down the stretch.
2nd and 7, and they go to their favorite target, Gonzalez. When Heward has needed something, he's looked toward number 88. That's good for 11 and another first down.
Yeah, and that's the route that we've seen from him a lot. He's going to run this out route, and then he's able to get position on Al Harris. And as long as the ball is low and in front, there's no way then that Al Harris can come and make a play.
Well, now Gonzalez is making plays on cornerbacks and not safeties or linebackers.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs pretty much like, no matter who's on him, they like the matchup.
Kabir Bajab-Biamila came across early as Priest Holmes carries for 5.
Defense, 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
So they'll take the penalty, keep it first down. Remember, the field goal kicker for Kansas City is Dave Rayner. He made the mistake on the last kickoff, kicked it out of bounds. It led to the completion from Favre to Donald Driver for 44 yards and the field goal to regain the lead. This is a guy who was with the Packers all last year. Was surprised that he was not their kicker this year in favor of Mason Crosby. And since week 2, he's been the Chiefs' field goal kicker, and that's what he's done this season. The long of 49. Heward steps up, fires, good coverage, and a penalty flag comes in. Woodson was in front of Sammy Parker, and the indication is it's against Charles Woodson.
That's going to be interesting to see exactly where the contact was, because as you said, Joe, Woodson had inside leverage.
Number 21, defense, first down.
I mean, Charles Woodson looked like he was the intended receiver based on where the ball was thrown. The ball's to the inside, and from that look, it appeared that Sammy Parker is the one who initiated the contact. And Charles Woodson has just as much a right to the football as what the receiver does offensively.
Heward with time. Gonzalez waiting for it. Touchdown.
Take a look here in this 4th quarter. The offensive line for Kansas City has really done a nice job of protecting Damon Heward and giving him time to throw the football. They run what I call a wheel route. They run it to the outside and then up the sideline with Gonzalez. Atari Bigby in man-to-man coverage never again is able to get his head turned around to try to even make a play. Of course, he was in a trail position, so he couldn't have got there anyway.
4th touchdown of the year for Gonzalez, who's had a huge day now. 109 yards, 10 catches, the touchdown. The Chiefs will go for 2. Try to make it a 6-point game. Back of the end zone, and they're going to throw a flag. Dwayne Bowe, the intended receiver, and it was Jared Bush defending for Green Bay.
Pass interference, number 24, defense. Half the distance to the goal and retry.
A retry for the Chiefs are conversions this season.
Well, there's Bowe. He's trying to get to the back line, and obviously contact was made. If Jared Bush isn't moving, then there's a chance you get the offensive pass interference, but because he continued to move, grabbing Bowe, an easy call.
Now they hand off to Priest Holmes, and Priest Holmes does not get it. But a penalty flag is sitting in the back of the end zone. They may get another crack at it.
12 players, defense. Half the distance to the goal, will retry.
Tell you, two players came running onto the field late. One of them was Charles Woodson for Green Bay. And they had 12 players on the field defensively, and that'll move the ball closer.
Well, let's see what they got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So another chance. Priest Holmes again. He's in, and it's a 6-point game.
And I wouldn't want to say that the point doesn't matter. I mean, the 2 points obviously matter, but it makes it a 6-point game to where if Green Bay now gets 2 field goals, it's a tie instead of a win. But either way, they were going to be looking at this saying, we've got to score a touchdown to win the game. And again, here's the touchdown by Damon Huard. Just a good route by Tony Gonzalez and well designed, running the out route and then up the sideline and then over the top by Priest Holmes.
How about these numbers? Tony Gonzalez, who got the touchdown, 109 yards today. The rest of the team with 108. And to go back to the Green Bay Packers going for the 1 point instead of the 2-point conversion 2 scores ago, their last touchdown. Now a touchdown and an extra point would put them out in front of Kansas City, as opposed to failing on a 2-point try would only tie. As Corin Robinson takes it from the goal line. Makes one move. First week active for the Packers, and Corin Robinson is swallowed up back at the 18. Tomorrow on Fox, it's a 2-hour event with all new back-to-back episodes of Prison Break. The Race to Escape begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central tomorrow. 2 hours of Prison Break tomorrow. Viewer discretion is advised.
About Damon Huard, I mean, we see it from him just about every week. I mean, things aren't going real well. You're struggling offensively. You're not making very many plays. Your defense is holding you in it. And like what he did in Oakland 2 weeks ago, he delivers a throw that puts them in the head, it puts them in the lead, and gives them a chance to win another football game.
Fake handoff out of the shotgun. The pass is complete to Donald Driver. Boy, is he strong. Driver forces his way forward for 12 yards. Caught it after about 8.5 yards and picks up a first down. Under 5 to play, and there's that stat I gave you earlier. 39 career fourth quarter or overtime comeback wins when tied or trailing. 3 this year. Last week, a winner on the first play from scrimmage in overtime at Denver. First down, the pass is squeezed into Corin Robinson somehow, and he sits up at the 40 for a first down.
And those throws are getting a little bit tighter. I talked about it there in the first quarter. Again, Herm Edwards has been telling these defensive backs all week long that Green Bay's going to run curls and they're going to throw slants, and then they're going to take shots down the field, and that's pretty much what we've seen. Curls, slants, and then the deep shot to Donald Driver earlier in this fourth quarter.
Only 1 timeout remaining for Green Bay. Quick throw to Corin Robinson, and what a good open field tackle by Benny Sapp, who has one huge interception in this game at the end of the first half.
You're absolutely right, Joe. That was a great open field tackle by Sapp, because initially it looked like Robinson was going to be able to get away from the tackle, and had he been able to do that, he was going to pick up a lot of yards.
This Chiefs defense is the only defense, the Chiefs as a team, the only team to not allow more than 20 points all season. Off his back foot, Jennings down the middle. Unbelievable. Favre to Jennings. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Well, curls, slants, and deep throws down the field.
Right down the middle of the field, and Brett Favre continues to dazzle at the age of 38.
I tell you, this wide receiving core would look to be one of the maybe weak spots for this offense coming into the season, has really matured here over the last couple of weeks.
So for the first time, Kansas City has allowed more than 20 points. It's Green Bay 23, Kansas City 22, and Favre does it off his back foot again.
Yeah, this is a highlight reel of him making throws off his back foot. But again, he's got the arm strength to be able to get it out there. You got Donnie Edwards, who would have been covering him down the middle. Jennings just able to run right by him, and then Favre lays it out, and he goes and gets it.
So it was Greg Jennings, 82 yards for the win at Denver on Monday night. Earlier in the game against the Broncos, a 79-yarder to James Jones, and no bigger throw than this completion from Brett Favre to Greg Jennings for 60 and a touchdown.
That's right, and to follow up with the comment that I made as far as them maturing here over the last couple of weeks, I mean, clearly the way that they have moved the football has been through the air, but this was a young wide receiving crew other than Donald Driver coming into this game, or not this game, but this season. Greg Jennings, and then of course James Jones. And these guys have played exceptionally well, and the big plays that they've been able to create here over the last 2 weeks have been the real difference.
That is the 6th lead change of this game, and to go back again, you never know how they're going to play out, but after Kansas City made good on the 2-point try, because the Packers went for 1 instead of 2 in their previous touchdown, that touchdown and extra point puts Green Bay ahead by 1. Here's Drummond out to the 22. Larry Johnson is out with a sprained ankle. And so one of the biggest weapons for Kansas City, who was injured on this tackle by A.J. Hawk, is not available to the Chiefs here with 2 minutes and 58 seconds left. They mark Drummond down just inside the 23-yard line, and Damon Huard, who got his team down the field and scored the touchdown on the throw to Tony Gonzalez, will have to do it again.
Yeah, and I think that for Kansas City, for the most part, the way that they've been able to move the football here in this second half and fourth quarter is through the air. And what they don't lose is with Priest Holmes at tailback, they've got a pretty accomplished guy being able to do some things within the passing game.
Pressure on Huard, hit as he let it go for Webb. And the catch is made by Webb on Al Harris at the Green Bay 40.
Well, this is the guy that Herm Edwards really liked coming into this game. He's got good speed.
Oh.
And he got his left foot down, but it didn't look like he got his right.
There's over 2 minutes remaining, so Green Bay, if they are going to challenge, they have to throw the flag.
And there it is.
And here comes the flag. They have a timeout remaining, so they can challenge the play. And it certainly looked like at that first glance that the left foot of Jeff Webb came down on the boundary. Did he have it there? The right foot,
Green
rather.
Bay is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass.
The left foot is down, the right foot crosses over and may have been on the boundary.
Well, it sure looked that way, and a nice job by the Green Bay Packers up in their booth getting word down to the sidelines, because the other part of it was the Chiefs were in no hurry to get to the line and snap the ball. They went to the huddle. He's got possession there, but it's the right foot that by all accounts looks to be on the line.
Yeah, I think every look we've had at that play, it looks like the right foot of Jeff Webb comes down on the line. And we'll see if Walt Anderson under the hood sees it that way. He's got 60 seconds to make that call, and the challenge well worth it on the part of Mike McCarthy. So the completion to Jeff Webb, but that right foot. A 36-yard completion from Damon Huard, who's really made some good throws in this second half, could be wiped away with the challenge by the Packers. It's either a 2nd down and 10 at their own 22 or a 1st and 10 at the Green Bay 42. What a difference.
You're right. Damon Huard has really come on here in the second half. I mean,
after reviewing the play, the receiver's second foot was out of bounds. The pass is incomplete. Green Bay is not charged with a timeout. It'll be 2nd and 10 on the 22-yard line.
You can hear the reaction from this crowd. So many Green Bay Packer fans sprinkled in here at Arrowhead, and they love the call. It's now 2nd and 10 for Kansas City with the ball at their own 22.
Well, and I know Jeff Webb, he's a young player, he's a second-year player, and as I was saying earlier, Herm Edwards really likes this young wide receiver. He's going to have a productive career for this Kansas City Chiefs team, and as he continues to get more playing time, that's a ball that he probably catches and keeps his feet in bounds, just not really knowing for sure where that boundary was. Kept him from getting the right foot in.
Pressure from behind as Kabir Bajab-Biamila comes up with a sack. A loss of 7, and for KGB, he's got 5.5 on the year.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about KGB in this ball game. Here he is, coming off the edge, working against McIntosh, and he just got too much speed. You know, he's back playing the role that he played early in his career, and that is just a pass rushing specialist. And since he's gone back to that this year, he's become a much more productive player.
3rd down and 17. Pass from Huard is too high for Parker. Parker slipped a bit. Jared Bush was out there in coverage. And with all 3 of their timeouts remaining, Kansas City will punt the football with 2 minutes and 14 seconds left. Rely on their defense. A couple of first downs from Brett Favre and company, and they could move to 7-1 to start this season.
Well, that was a good stop there by Green Bay. Yes, they gave up the big pass play. Fortunately for them, you know, Webb was out of bounds, but then 2 nice plays following that to force a punt.
Colquitt hits it, and Woodson makes the catch. Charles Woodson on the return. Still going, brought down near the 30. They'll mark him at the 31. Longest punt return of the season for Charles Woodson, 29 yards.
And the best part about it is he got it underneath 2 minutes, and so the Chiefs won't be afforded the luxury of a timeout at the 2-minute warning.
They'll start, the Packers will, at the Kansas City 31. Of defensive calls against him here in this second half. But he makes up for it with a 29-yard punt return, which carried the game inside 2 minutes, as Troy pointed out. And Kansas City will try and come up with a stop. Down by a point. Handoff is to Brandon Jackson, so they trust the rookie carrying the ball. A 4-yard gain, timeout Kansas City.
You know, you just look at this Packers team and really what they've been able to accomplish. I know, you know, beating Washington, and then last week, regardless of whatever kind of team Denver is, winning on Monday night at Denver, that's hard to do. And now to come here, this is not an easy place to play either. And you know, a few weeks ago, you just kind of wondered, okay, how good is Green Bay? Are they for real? And you know, I got to tell you, I mean, I don't think you can play this many games in the season. You know, now their 8th ball game, and if they do win this and end up 7-1, I mean, this team is legitimate, and that Dallas game coming up here in a few weeks is shaping up to be awfully good.
Here's another one for you. How good is Mike McCarthy as a head coach? With the way his team finished last year, Green Bay trying to win their 6th straight road game, and it's a false start against Green Bay.
False start, number 73, offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
I mean, Troy, this is a Green Bay team that is a minute 53 away, and And still, that's a lot of time from winning their 11th game in their last 12 tries and winning their 6th straight on the road, which no matter who you're playing is tough to do in the NFL.
Yeah, and I know in talking with Mike Stevpak, and he says, hey, this is a Green Bay team that's going to continually get better. We're young, but they're getting experience. You know, and that's what's happened. This group has really grown together.
Second down and 11. It's Brandon Jackson again. Kansas City will spend another timeout, a gain of only 1, a minute 49 to go, and we go for Kurt and a game break.
Well, Joe, it just gives us a chance to aim as a pro.
All right, Kurt, thanks. And that means that Kansas City, while they're trailing here and still may have a shot to come back and win it at the end of this game. San Diego, the team they're tied with at the top of the division, down by 11 with 8 minutes left. And as you see, Denver is just getting throttled. So the AFC West
is unchanged.
Yeah, this is going to be a day where they just stand still.
And how about Adrian Peterson doing that without really any passing game? I mean, everybody knows what they're going to do.
But still time left in this one for Kansas City. 3rd down and 10. Jackson squirts out of the pack, and now on 4th down, an extremely important field goal try will be coming from Mason Crosby as Kansas City spends their final timeout. And there's plenty of time left here. If Crosby does not hit this field goal, great field position awaits Kansas City.
Well, and you know, here's the key play. You know, here it was to Webb, and he got his left foot down, and as we showed, he was unable to get his right foot down, and so then they had to punt the ball to Green Bay. But, you know, clearly they make this a touchdown difference. Chiefs would have to score a touchdown. If they don't make it, they're going to get great field position. But even if they do make it, the Chiefs are going to have plenty of time after this play.
45-yard try. The kick is good. That's a big one from Mason Crosby, who is 4 out of 5 kicking field goals today. And that goes back to the punt return by Charles Woodson. 29 yards set that up. And with a minute 40 left, the Green Bay Packers now are up by 4.
Yeah, there's no question that this field goal was huge for the Green Bay Packers, because instead of the Chiefs only needing a field goal to win the game, now they're going to need a touchdown. However, because there is a minute and 40-some seconds left in the game, there's plenty of time for the Chiefs. Now they're going to have to do it without any timeouts, but there's plenty of time for them to be able to get down the field and put themselves in a position to win the game too.
You could see Favre didn't want to watch. That's how big that field goal was. He asked if it was good after the fact. I'm sure he heard the Green Bay fans cheering in what is now a 4-point game. Brett Favre, again, this is the one team he's never defeated in his Hall of Fame career. The Kansas City Chiefs. Green Bay up by 4 with a minute 40 left. If you are just joining us from other games, you are dipping into a game where we have had 6 lead changes. Crosby hits the squib kick, and it's going to be returned out across the 30 by Turk McBride. So McBride on the return, and it's 1st and 10 for Kansas City. A minute 35 left, down by 4. We welcome in yet another audience. Joe, Troy, and Pam here. A minute 35 left, Troy. No timeouts left, and this has been a wild finish. It was a 7-6 game at the half, and we've gone back and forth. 30 yards on a screen to Larry Johnson. One of the deep throws by Brett Favre set up a field goal. Then Damon Hewitt answered to Tony Gonzalez. But on the first play from scrimmage at the 40, the drive starting at the 40, 60 yards to Greg Jennings for the touchdown. A 45-yarder by Mason Crosby. It's a 4-point game, and this tackle by Nick Barnett brings down Priest Holmes after a gain of 8.
Well, I don't like the squib kick that was used, because immediately you gave Kansas City pretty good field position that they probably don't get if you just kick it off normally deep.
Hewitt fires, and the pass broken up. Looking for a flag, not getting it. A.J. Hawk was in front of Tony Gonzalez.
Wow. I'll tell you, that looked like pass interference to me. You're going to see Tony Gonzalez, and then he is passed up there to A.J. Hawk. Well, as A.J. got his head turned, I didn't realize that A.J. got his head turned when it was happening live, but he was able to get his head turned and then make a play. Actually, a good no call there by the official.
3rd down and 2 now for Kansas City, and their first goal has to be, let's get a first down here. 1:10 left, no timeouts. Pressure by Kabir Bajab-Biamila. It's Woodson, and that will wrap it up. Charles Woodson will coast, and the Packers are going to start 7-1. Second turnover, second interception thrown by Damon Huard. First one to A.J. Hawk, and this backbreaker to Charles Woodson. And Brett Favre, when 59 seconds come off the clock, will for the first time have defeated the Kansas City Chiefs. We welcome in yet another audience in what has been a great game here at Arrowhead. The extra point is hit by Mason Crosby, who's had a big day. And here is the latest, Charles Woodson working on Sammy Parker.
Yeah, and it was just, I don't know if Damon Huard expected Parker to come back out of it towards the sideline or if it was just a poor throw altogether. But Charles Woodson was right there, and I can tell you as a quarterback, I had a few of these in my career when you're trying to get a touchdown to win a game and you know it's your last drive, and to have an interception end it all. And as you said, Joe, as soon as it was picked off, you knew that the game was over and you just lost.
Not only did we know it and Woodson, but Brett Favre did as well. And for the audience just joining us, this is the one team Favre has never defeated in his Hall of Fame career. He will now join Tom Brady, Peyton Manning as the two quarterbacks who have defeated the other 31 teams in the league. They're the only three to do it once this game is official. And for Brett Favre, Troy, you live with the mistakes. You live with him forcing it at the end of the first half. The interception, which turned the game around at the moment, made it 7-6 after the touchdown by Kansas City. Because you revel and bask in the greatness that he brings, and he has done it yet again today. This is Benny Sapp on the return. A penalty flag comes in, and Sapp can't make the 30.
Illegal block in the back, number 22, receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Coming up after our game, the Fox NFL Sunday postgame show presented by AT&T. We reveal the new BCS standings after yet another wild weekend of college football. Find out where each team ranks. Plus get highlights from all of today's action. The Fox NFL Sunday postgame show coming up after our game. And following the AT&T postgame, U.S. Amateur Boxing right here on Fox. Who would have dreamt of a 7-1 start for the Green Bay Packers on top in the NFC North?
No question. I mean, coming into this year, I don't know of anybody that really thought that Green Bay would be anywhere close to where they are right now.
This is Chris Wilson. 45 seconds remaining. Remember, Kansas City without any timeouts. Troy, there have been 35 fourth-quarter points scored by these two teams here today. 20 by Green Bay, 15 by Kansas City. That's low, caught by Holmes, tackled by Barnett.
Not much offense there in the first half, but for them to come out and play as well as they did, really on both sides of the ball offensively, you know, pretty impressive. But, you know, I'll go back to what I said a little bit earlier. Green Bay at 7-1. To have won the last 2 weeks on the road, and like we said coming into the game, Joe, a short week after a big emotional win at Denver, to play here at Kansas City and win a game here. Mike McCarthy now, what have they won, 6 in a row on the road?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing feat.
The last time a Packer team did that, they were being guided by Vince Lombardi. They won 8 straight between 66 and 67. And when you look at the NFC North, Detroit 6-2. They're big winners today as they throttled Denver. Pass to the sideline. Webb makes the catch, hops out with the first down.
Well, and I talked about how big that Cowboys-Packers game's going to be on Thursday night coming up in late November, but the Thursday before that on Thanksgiving, within the division, the game we'll have is going to be a great one as well, with Detroit and Green Bay there on Thanksgiving Day.
Brett Favre with his 53rd career game with 300 or more passing yards. He will add another win to his top total in NFL history as Webb needs to hop out of bounds. He does. This will be career win number 154 for the three-time MVP. He has 2 more touchdown passes, 427 in his career, number 1 all-time. 282 interceptions, most all-time, as he made his 245th consecutive start here today. And they keep riding this guy, and he has receivers now who are blossoming before our very eyes. Whether it's James Jones or Greg Jennings, with the veteran Donald Driver leading them. Kabir Bajia-Biamila gets his second of this fourth quarter, and that's the way this day will end. An 11-point win for Green Bay over Kansas City. Brett Favre and the Packers are 7-1. And our UPS leaderboard, UPS, what can Brown do for you? As Herm Edwards and Mike McCarthy, former assistant coaches under Marty Schottenheimer here in Kansas City, get together at midfield. Brett Favre, there's his day. Larry Johnson, 53 yards, left the game with a sprained ankle. Tony Gonzalez, 10 catches, 109 yards and a touchdown. Good to be back with Troy and Pam. That's it from us. Our producer Richie Zients, director Artie Kempner. We will take a break. The AT&T postgame show coming up on the other side of the commercial. A lot to talk about, including BCS standings. Green Bay 7-1 with an 11-point win at Arrowhead.
A Sunday night loss at home against the Bears in a game the Packers seemed to control most of the way. They would be in the midst of a perfect season. Brett Favre and his group back on the road after the Monday night overtime win at Denver against the Chiefs, the only Packer opponent that Favre has not beaten in his long career. Late second quarter, Favre's pass intended for Corin Robinson picked off by Benny Sapp. Favre's second interception in a slow first half for him. And then, after a pass interference call in the end zone sets them up, it's Larry Johnson diving in from the 1, and KC leads it 7-6. But things would turn brighter for Favre in the second half. Third quarter, he pumps it, and then he dumps it to Greg Jennings across the middle. Jennings does the rest, 13-yard touchdown, 13-7 in favor of the Packers. Nick Collins and Corey Williams were carted off with knee injuries. Common courtesy, they're carted back on, but they weren't able to help zone, and they're in front 14-13. After the Packers take the lead on a Mason Crosby field goal, it'll be Heward again, hitting Tony Gonzalez for the 10th time. This one for a 17-yard touchdown. They tack on a 2-point conversion, lead 22-16. But it's Favre right back. Just like on Monday night in Denver, it's Greg Jennings on the receiving end. 60 yards this time. They go up 23-22. Crosby's 4th field goal of the game, and a Charles Woodson interception return for the touchdown iced it. They win it 33-22 to go to 7-1. And here's Favre.
It's hard to doubt us. I mean, you can question us. I mean, I do too. Did I think that we were blowing chances? Absolutely. Did I think we were running out of time? Absolutely. Did I think we could do it? Sure.
He's done that the last couple weeks. I mean, they've had the ball where they needed to score. He's thrown the pass, obviously, to make the play. And that's why he's the first ballot Hall of Fame guy.
All right, now that Brett has had his say, it's time for today's Quick Fix presented by McDonald's Snack Wrap, and we present to you Chris Collinsworth.
The lesson for today, Bob?
Yes?
Don't get too cute with Brett Favre.
And when have I ever done that?
I'm not sure, but I'm sure you have. Let's take a look at the game-winning touchdown right here. Greg Jennings right here is going to go right straight down the field against this Tampa 2 defense. Donnie Edwards is the middle linebacker in charge of running with him. Now, typically in the Tampa 2, that guy running down the middle is a tight end. But in this case, it happened to be a very fast wide receiver, Greg Jennings. And you can see these 2 safeties on the outside, because they thought they had help down the middle of the field, were a little bit wider. Brett recognized it, goes over the top, Game winner. Brett Favre does it again.
And that was today's Quick Fix presented by McDonald's Snack Wrap. Okay, Sunday Night Football about a half an hour away. Dallas at Philly, where the fans eagerly await the return of their favorite villain.
Tito's go right now. He's known for making plays